Good morning.
Good morning.
Making fun. We're here this morning to kind of talk about a little bit, give you an introduction to our iKamper. And it's not like we're bringing this out onto the market. No, this is super new. Everybody knows about the iKamper. Everybody's seen a million videos about how amazingly easy they are to open up. The fact that we, love the hard shell or whatever. This is the iKamper 3.0, which you're like, if an iKamper fanboy or whatever, you can see the silver, or girl, you can see the silver lettering up there instead of the black and red. And so you know it's a 3.0. There's a couple of differences between the two. And again, if you've been looking into this, I'm sure you already know exactly what the differences are between the 2.0, the 3.0. Mostly it's just color and my favorite little zipper bag up there.
And the shades.
And the shades. If I'm honest, shades are kind of gimmicky. I don't know.
It's bougie.
It's bougie. So I'll show you the shades in a second, but so you've got these little pull strings, right? And you're inside, then you pull. Oh, it's like a Venetian blinds or something. However, the little flappy flap on the outside that you're trying to pull the strings, it's got zippers on it. So you still have to
unzip everything,
open the window, unzip it to close it up and go, now look at me, be bougie.
Ooh.
But as well as just kind of introducing you, we also kind of want to show you, now that we've had the tent, we've had it for 9-10 months, something like that. Had it for a while. We've taken it on a number of trips. And I haven't made a video about this because I kind of wanted to get some miles under our belt or some nights in on the tent so that we could really kind of have a better opinion of what we like, what we don't like, and kind of show you, this is what we've done with the tent to make it a little more livable, to make it a little bit more comfortable. And here's some things that you can do that we have used that make it a lot easier to live with and to deal with. So because they are exorbitantly expensive, and iKamper so far has decided not to sponsor me, hook me up, yo. We bought this used. We actually got a fairly good deal on it. I want to say brand new, these are $4,200 or something like that. And then there's shipping and there's all the things. We ended up picking this up. We had to drive a few hours out of town to go get it, but we got it for $2,800 or something like that. Really, really good deal. The guy had it mounted to his truck for he said he owned it for a year and a half, something like that. And it was constantly outside. So like they all do, the roof is kind of fading. You can't really see it from the angle that you're at there because it's still shiny down here on the sides, but the roof is fading, kind of like they all do. I think we're going to end up putting like a, bed liner, rhino lining, something on there, wrinkly finish. But if we had to pay full price for one of these, we just wouldn't have one. So.
Because we are everyman Overland.
Yeah, we are broke mofos. But since we've had it, we are, I don't know if I would say super excited to have it, but it's been very, very nice. Everything that you hear about them, it's very dark inside. They are super, super easy to set up and tear down. We don't have the problem with this one like we had with our last two tents with the Smitty builds, with the way it folds open and had that silly little channel in here, so we had to take a ratchet strap down to we don't have to do any of that anymore.
Yeah, and all the tucking and scraping
knuckles. And the zipper and the
And friends that were sitting there looking at their watches, waiting for us to finish either setting up or tearing down every day.
So let's go ahead and get it opened up, and then we can show you some of the things that we've done. We can talk about what's going on inside. We can talk about the bougie, flappy thing, whatever.
This is all you.
This is all me. It's my job to open it up.
Yeah, he opens it up, and then I make it pretty on the inside.
And before I open it, I want to show you one of the things that I'm not particularly happy with on this tent. And I don't think this is an everybody's iKamper thing. I think somehow this specific iKamper has deformed itself somehow. So the corner comes around and the lid kind of comes over the top of the base, and that's what keeps all the rain out. You can see it comes over the top so nothing can get in. Well, the top has deformed itself so that it is bent in towards the base. And as this lifts up, I'll show you in a second, when I lift it back up, I'll bring it down a little bit, that this being bent in, it actually comes down and sits on top of the base. And it's very hard to get it closed, and it's very hard to get it open because I have to push against this and it's fighting. I suppose that makes for a particularly good seal on there, but it just makes it a pain. And I don't know if other people with iKampers have kind of fought the same fight that I'm fighting, and I don't know why this one is the way it is. I didn't buy it new, so I don't necessarily feel like calling iKamper and saying, you need to warranty this for me, because I bought it used. It is what it is. This is also one of these things, if this is the worst problem I've got, like we're doing fine, because it doesn't make things impossible. It's just a pain. but I can't really show it to you once it's open. So I thought I'd show you now. So I'm gonna get back to opening. So you can see now, with it open just a tiny bit, you can see the way this top rests on top of the bottom there because it's deformed a little bit. I don't know if you can catch the angle on it from there, but it's hanging out over here, or over here, it's real easy to pull it down. But when it gets over to here, I really kind of have to, like, I got to get my fingers underneath it here, or do a little something to kind of yank it down to get the top over the base. It's a pain. So that's it. Now it's open. I would say from the time you stick the key in the side of the lock to open it up till it's fully, like, I mean, you're talking, what, like 45 seconds or something like that? All the time of setting one of these things up really doesn't have anything to do with getting it open to this point here. It has to do with getting your air mattresses inflated, getting all the bedding down, and getting everything just right. And we've got a light that's up inside. We're gonna plug in here. I'll show you that in a second. And there's lots of like homemaking that has to happen once it's open. I suppose if you're okay just sleeping on like a hard aluminum floor or whatever, like you could just open it up and throw yourself into it and go to sleep. It's ready to go as far as it's concerned, but I'm old and cranky, and so I need it a little bougie and a little comfy. So that's what takes all the time in here. So we talked a little bit about these side flaps, side curtains. These are like side, like rain flaps, whatever. You've got the little pull strings on the inside that you can use to pull these up, and they'll actually go straight up vertically. But right here is a zipper that has to be unzipped before you can set that up. There's a couple different things you can do. I suppose there's 3 different ways you could use this. If it's absolutely horrendously pouring down rain and it's cold outside and you want to keep it well insulated, you can just leave this closed and zipped up. It'll be nice and dark inside so you sleep real good. If it's only raining a bit, you can actually open this up and set it up like a rain fly. And to do that, you just unzip the 2 sides, you stick the 2 poles in right here, and grab a couple poles. I'll show you how that works. So here's the poles, and these come with 2 different style poles. You can see this one has a little kink in the end of it. You get 4 of these, and then you get 2 of them that are straight. The 2 straight ones hold the front rain fly up, you know, as an entrance, and then the ones with a little kink plug in right here. You can actually see the little metal bracket that's up here. I want to say on the 3.0, they moved this metal bracket from the bottom to the top. It had something like that, but effectively it's the same thing. So I'll just hook the rain fly in there. Stick that pole there. And there, it is set up as an open rain fly. So that's the second way you can run this. So you can run it closed, you can run it up as a rain fly, and then there's a couple different layers in here. There's the screen layer, and then there's another cloth layer that keeps the sunlight and everything out, keeps the temperature in, keeps it nice in there. And the third way you can do it is to pull on the strings so it actually goes straight up. So I'll take these poles out, I'll let it kind of slide back down. I'll run up inside, pull the strings so you can kind of see what it looks like as it goes all the way up. All right, so now from up in the tent, we go ahead and pull on the strings. I don't know if you can see me up here, but you can see that this has run itself up and it just kind of wrinkles up at the top. And it makes things fairly easy, fairly nice. So if you're in here in the morning and you don't want to unzip the window to deal with this, to have to roll it up or whatever, you can just pull in these little strings. Getting it back down, you let go of the strings and you just kind of beat on it, I guess. And then there's these little hookies in here. So when you pull it all the way up with the strings, you fasten that up and it holds it open there. And then if I open the window, you can crawl out and be obnoxious. So you can see that when you use the strings to pull it up, like the middle of it still hangs down a little bit. It doesn't really hold it up real tight like that. There is a cloth loop up here, so if you wanted to take the loop it around, and hold it up there, you can do that. But then, of course, you have to open up the window to be able to let it back down. So the whole pull string idea, I think, is really cool. But in reality, when you're using it, I don't know it to be that helpful. Like I don't know. I think it's a better idea than the way it worked out in its execution. So now that you've seen the window and kind of seen how that works from the outside, let's go ahead and hop up in there, show you a couple things that we've done to the tent, kind of some things we like and don't like. So here we are, inside the iKamper. As you can see, and I'm a big dude, like I'm actually sitting kind of on the smaller side. Marla somehow got the taller side, but I can still sit up in here just fine. If I needed to take my shirt off or change or whatever, there's lots of room in here to do that. The floor space in here is nuts. It's bigger than a king-size bed. It's like a couple inches wider, whatever, or a few inches wider than a king-size bed.
Crazy.
So we have all kinds of room. When we're laying in here, we don't have to get anywhere near each other when you're out camping. And sweating is hot, and yeah, you're sticky, and you don't want that.
Plus all the pillows. We got to have room for all the pillows.
Plus all the pillows. I mean, you got to have pillows to be comfortable, right? I'm not unreasonable here. You just have to have pillows to be comfortable. So the first thing that I did right after we purchased this, and I'd already planned on doing this before we purchased the iKamper, is I put anti-condensation layer on the floor. Now, a lot of people I've seen will use like the peel and stick tiles that you can get at all the big box stores and whatever, and they'll just kind of put the tiles out. I actually used a very specific product that is designed to go in floor spaces in a crawl space of your home, right? It goes in between the vinyl sheeting that you put down to encapsulate the crawl space. It goes in between that and the ground. So it's specifically designed to move air through it and to kind of disperse water. It is also made out of 100% virgin material, so there's nothing within the material itself that any mold or bacteria can feed on. So you have a much lower likelihood of getting any kind of mold or mildew within the tent because it just can't grow on this material. You can see that the floor here, if you own an iKamper, you know that this is just an aluminum floor. And now it's got this black felt-like material on it. I have actually glued the material to both of the floor pieces, but I left the part where the hinge is, I didn't glue anything down to that. So when it folds up, this is still loose in here and it can fold up properly and it doesn't tug or bind. This has actually worked out very well. It controls a lot of noise, like nothing's crinkly, tappy on here. And it did a very good job of insulating the tent when we were out on the cat. And it was actually fairly cold at night. It was getting down to, well, I think it got down to about 39 at night. And I was perfectly comfortable. Whereas like Lewis, who was parked right next to me and had his iKamper, without this insulation, the floor was very cold. Mine was not. Mine was easy to touch. It wasn't cold. It worked out very well. So the next thing that we put in here, which iKamper has just addressed with their new released, like advanced version, or what do they call it, the X, whatever they're calling their new super special edition, has a light on the inside of it. So we got this light off of Amazon, and we got it actually with our first tent. So we've had it for 2.5 years now or something like that. It was like 30 bucks or 35 bucks or something like that. It runs off of 12-volt power. It has a long cord in it, so I just drop the cord out of the tent. It goes down inside the truck. I plug it in, works great. And you can see that it actually cycles between orange and white. So if you want a lot of light in here for doing whatever you want, you can have the white light on. If you don't want the bugs to bother you so much, you can turn the orange light on. And then you can also, if you hold the switch down, it takes a second, there it goes. It will dim so that you can actually come up in here and you can dim it down and it doesn't have to be super bright, whether it's on white or amber. See, there's the white. Again, you just kind of hold that thumb button down and it cycles down so it's fairly dim. And then you can turn it back up if you want, turn it off, whatever you want to do. Super easy to use. It's just got like some Velcro straps that we strap to one of the support hoops up here. And we just have like these little Velcro wire ties that we tied the wire up. And a little bonus, it comes with these little clips that are actually meant for hanging it somewhere. But now that those little clips are there, we can I think we hang our glasses off of there, and so we don't lose our glasses in the middle of the night. But you could hang like a little something off there if you wanted to, or whatever.
And another addition that we've made to the tent, and this was purchased, where we get these at Walmart?
Yeah, I think we picked these up at Walmart. They were $5 a piece or $8 a piece or something.
Necessity fans. And they just run off of USB. So we also got another adapter that we connect through to the truck and plug our fans in. So the fans have frames on them, and they just very conveniently hook over the top here. You can angle them. They've got an on-off switch. So you can have the fan on if you want, and during the night, if you decide it's getting a little chilly and you want to turn it back off, which I never do, stays on, then you can turn the fan off in the night. And they've been a game changer. Love the fans.
Yeah, they're really fantastic. And you would think by looking at it, like it's just a tiny little desk fan. Like that's why it's got that little, it's supposed to sit this way, but we, hang it.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
But we hang it upside down with this here bracket, and you can see it's got a long wire on it. But this tiny little desk fan is supposed to plug into like a computer or something. So they use very, very little electricity. They have a very low draw. You don't ever have to worry about running these things all night and draining if you're using just a single battery in your truck, or if you have like an EcoFlow or a Jackery or something that's also running the fridge. These are not going to draw down whatever battery it is that you're using and leave you stranded or leave you with warm food in your refrigerator.
Right.
These can run all night. They work really, really well.
And it's not like that they just throw a lot of air. They don't, but it's just enough to keep the air circulating in the tent, and just makes a huge difference in comfort for the overnight, especially during summertime camping.
Especially during summertime. Hot and sweaty up here. You don't want that. And it almost doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you have an iKamper, if you have a Smitty belt, or if you have a Roam tent, whatever it is. If you have like a little bar or something to hook up, get these things, worth every single penny you spend on them.
And it wasn't many.
And then this little adapter she was showing you, this is just a very small, very cheap 4-port USB hub, right? It is not a powered hub, so it just plugs into any USB source, and I have just a USB extension cord. It's like an 8-foot cord or a 10-foot cord. We plug into this, it goes out into the truck and plugs into a USB port that's constantly powered by the battery, and we're good all night.
Yeah, we are.
So now let's talk bedding. It's one of the questions I've seen asked the most about rooftop tents. Should I buy this one? Should I buy that one? Should I get a wedge style? Should we get a clamshell like this, a hard top? Should we get a soft top? One of the questions I see the most is, I want something that I can put my bedding in, that I can leave my bedding in so I don't have to carry it in and out every time. Which one should I get? Well, here's the solution we've come up with. And for starters, we have a lot of bedding.
So much bedding.
Here's our bedding, right? There's the bag. So we used to actually carry this inside the truck with us. We'd have to find a spot for it to go because all of this wouldn't actually fit in the Smitty built that we had before. We could leave some of the sheets, whatever, maybe a blanket in there, but not a whole lot fit in there. But the iKamper with the hard shell actually gives you a little bit of room to pack away in here. Not a ton of room, but we can get all of this in just fine. And here's how we go about it. First of all, we did just exactly like everyone else who's ever bought one of these things does, and we took the factory mattresses out and stuck them in storage. They're over there in the side of the shop, but we're probably never going to use them. Unfortunately, there's not enough room in here to leave the factory mattresses and add these collapsible, self-inflating sleeping pads. These are far more comfortable. We have Como Top brand, or Como Top, or it's QOMO. Nobody knows how to pronounce it. I don't know who names these things, but we've all seen this brand on Amazon, whatever. We got them for like 80 bucks a piece, and they're very comfortable. There are many brands out there, including iKamper, who has an extremely expensive one that does exactly the same thing. But if you just take a look online, you can find these things fairly inexpensive. And then one of the tricks to packing them is, instead of just getting all the air out of them by, like, you can kind of fold it up and you can sit on it, you can lay on it and just kind of squeeze it and wrestle with it, get a lot of air out. So we actually have an air pump so we can like vacuum pack, like suck all the air out of it. And that helps out a whole bunch. Because when you're trying to get this much stuff into any open cavity, it's much better to be able to suck it down.
And let me just point out that this is only one bag. We have 2 of these that actually goes camping with us because there's pillows.
Pillows are good. Let's get all the bedding out of the bag. We'll kind of lay it out to show you what it looks like as we try and close it up. And there it is. Here's all of our bedding laid out. You can see we have a comforter that goes on top of us. We've got a little bit of a comforter that kind of goes in between us and the air mattresses, just to give a little bit of more comfortable, cushy space. And we've got a top sheet, a bottom sheet. Well, this is actually the bottom sheet that lays underneath us. Each one of us gets our very own top sheet because we're bougie. And then we have a couple pillows. And then there's also possibly a body pillow that may accompany us at some point.
I'm just kind of curious if anybody else takes body pillows with them when they go camping.
Everybody takes body pillows.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Everybody wants to be comfortable. So you can see how thick all of this is. And there's, I mean, maybe we could lay this out a little bit better. We could put this down, you know, like so, and that's a little bit thinner. You want to try and lay everything out as thin as possible. And the way these iKampers fold up, where the front piece of it here, or the side piece, whichever you want to call the foot piece, folds up in here, you have to keep everything that is taller or thicker farther back up in there. So you can have kind of thin stuff here, like you can see we've got one mattress that is flat, and then the other one stacks on top of that towards the back, and then you want to keep everything as thin as possible. And at this point, we could probably wrestle with it and get it closed, because we don't have a body pillow in here. But here's what we did to get everything squashed down.
My Vanna White.
That's right. Went on Amazon, got some vacuum storage bags, right? I want to say this entire box, it says right here, it comes with 20 bags, and there's some big enough to like put a body in, and then there's some smaller ones. The whole thing was like 15 bucks or something like that. It was super, super cheap. Comes with all the, you know, different size bags. Like you see this bag here, open that up, and then comes with this little pump, which is kind of nice because this doesn't have to be battery powered. It doesn't have to plug in anything. You just screw it right on the thing, shook, 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 and you get the air out. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna take all of the bedding here, put it into these vacuum seal bags. I'm not gonna bore you with watching me pump these things down, but we'll show you what it looks like after they're all sealed up. So just as a quick comparison, take a look at the difference between a vac sealed pillow and just a normal pillow. Now, these started out life as the same pillow, right? Well, I mean, I suppose they are still the same pillow, but after you vac seal it down, look at the difference that makes. So when you're trying to squeeze everything inside this tent, that's a whole lot easier than that. Just look at that, that's awesome. And now, ta-da, like, that's a comforter, right? That's all it is, that's all the thicker it is. Like, they almost disappear. We packed the flat sheets in with this pillow. We typically would pack that, I just forgot, and I'm lazy, so I don't want to put it in. But we'll typically pack the sheets in with one pillow, and then we'll pack the bottom sheet or the top sheet, whatever, with the other pillow, squash them all down.
Yep.
And these vac seal bags, you can just get so much more in here. Even, I mean, you see with this normal pillow, this is actually like a gel pillow. It has gel in there, so a normal pillow would get even squashier than this, even farther down. But even my body pillow, like a big old body pillow, you kind of fold it in half, you put it in there. Once all the air's out of it, it's like that thick. It's awesome. These vac seal bags, I don't want to say game changer, so I will say these vac seal bags are exceptionally helpful. How's that? That sound good?
Well, I mean, yeah, because in Janky, we don't have a lot of space inside for everything that we need to take with us. And being able to compress all of our bedding and leave it up in here just allows for more room. I mean, you saw how big those bags are that we used to have to put inside of Janky, and there were 2 of those. Yeah, this, I would almost go with game changer because it has allowed us a whole lot more space.
Exceptionally helpful.
Okay. It's good.
So now, folding all of this up in here is very, very easy. I don't need to show you or try and find a camera angle so that you can watch these things as they close up. I'll just tell you, everything closes up in here just fine. All of our pillows, all of our bedding, everything. So if you're just like us and you want to be able to load all the bedding, all the everything into the tent before you leave the house and go out on your adventure, you can do that. And then you don't have to find room for it in the truck. Because room inside the truck, and I don't care I don't care if you got a Gladiator with a bed rack and all that, you still run out of room. Everybody runs out of room. It's just what happens, right? So putting the bedding up in the tent and just letting it live up here, it's fantastic. What else do we need to tell them about the tent?
That it's hot in here.
Super hot in here. You're sweating like...
It's getting hot.
My butt crack and my balls.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So that's it. Now we're...
Sweaty.
So that's it. Now we're sweaty. We got it all put back down. I didn't show you the process of putting it down because, again, there's just a million videos out there of look how easy it is to put up and take down or whatever. You've seen it all before. We just kind of wanted to be able to give you a very honest and accurate representation of kind of how we feel about it. We have not been sponsored by iKamper. We paid our own money for this, and we even paid our own money for this used because they're so expensive. But we've been very happy with it. Marla has slept in it on a couple of trips. I've slept on it in what, 3 or 4 trips now at this point. Love it to death. Things could be better, but I don't know that you can ever ask for anything to be perfect. But this is leaps and bounds better than our Smittybilts, especially that XL.
Yeah, there's no regret for the money spent on this. Anyway, if we were younger and back sleepers, we would be just fine with the factory setup and put our own bedding in it and we're good to go. But the fact that, we're a little older and we like to sleep on our sides, it's finding that right combination. And what works for us isn't necessarily what's going to work best for you. It's just trial and error and figuring out where your comfort level is.
Yeah. But if by any means you can swing it, and this is something that you do a lot, because this was expensive. I mean, how many nights can you stay in a hotel, right, for the amount of money we spent on this thing? A lot of nights.
But there's no hotels out there where we go.
Yeah, there's no hotels out in the cove. But if somehow, anyway, you can manage to save up the money or do whatever you got to do that you can get yourself into one of these, be it used. You could even buy, like if you really had to have like the little swingy things with the pull string things, you can actually buy an iKamper 2.0, and you can find those a lot less expensive on Facebook Marketplace and lots of different places. And then you can purchase the conversion kit from iKamper that comes with all the cloth, the tent and everything, because all the hardware is the same. The shell, the hinges, everything is the same between the 2.0 and 3.0. So you can just buy the replacement like cloth, the tenting up in there, and make it a 3.0 yourself. Or if you find someone and it's torn or whatever, you get it super cheap, buy the replacement stuff from iKamper. Another good way to go. Mm-hmm. But if you can find a way to get one, I can't imagine being happier with a rooftop tent. We've all seen the wedge style. They set up even quicker than this and they squash down. But with the wedge style, there's 2 problems. One is you don't get to keep that much stuff in there. You can't keep as much as you can in this. And number 2, the floor space is only as big as what this is, and it opens up. And I'm a big old boy, and I like to have a lot of pillows. And so we really like having the extra space. A wedge style just doesn't offer. So
yeah.
So there you go. You got any questions, comments, anything, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you would like to support the channel and see a lot more do-it-yourself projects now that we got a new shop and there's going to be electricity in here soon, that's probably going to end up being a video by itself.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. You can go check out our Patreon. We're just Everyman Overland on Patreon. Like I say, you can help support the channel, get us into a whole lot of different projects, and we can bring you a lot more content, exactly what you guys want to see. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Bye.